this week's edition of In the Pocket. All thanks to Palmerbet, of course, and all thanks to this legend. He is a superstar of the sport, make no mistake about it. He resides on the Gold Coast now. He is the king of the Gold Coast. He's the unofficial mayor up there. He does it all. He's doing breakfast radio. Former Hawk, former Swan, former Saint. He's just a legend. And I'm speaking of Peter Spida Everitt. And Spide, how are you, big fella?
Yeah, good. Look, we got the Gold Coast show this weekend, so we haven't got any AFL at all, and we've got the Gold Coast show. So be able to go down there, get my Birdie Beetle show bag that I always loved. Remember the old show bags? We used to get the Sunny Boy show bag or the Smiths one or the Whiz Fizz. Yeah, we used to be good, the show, but we've got it this weekend. So, yeah, look, we'll enjoy that, but no AFL. So I can tell you all around the southern states, lawnmowers, whippersnippers, they'll be going berserk. It'll look immaculate. If you ever want to win a Tidy Town award, it's this weekend in Melbourne, because after this weekend, it is all eyes on the finals and nothing gets done outdoors over the weekend.
And what a cracking final series it promises to be, mate. In all seriousness, it is going to be unbelievable, because I feared Ingham Spide. I reckon any team in that top 8, if they have a good 3 or 4 weeks, they could take it out this year, mate.
We've only got to win 3 games, and a few of them are 4, but that's all they need to do. But if they win, and we saw it, like, who would have thought it would have come down to the last couple of minutes of the last game of the round,
Amazing.
Collingwood and Carlton, just to decide the 8 and to decide the 4. It was absolutely epic. And what I love about this is that people in the United States were watching this going, this is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, mate, that final game, Spide, and we touched on it last week. There was a massive build-up to it, and it delivered in spades, didn't it? It's just phenomenal to get a result, a 1-point result. Even in that last kind of 45 seconds, there was still opportunity for Carlton just to even score, because a draw would have been enough to get them through. It had everything, mate, didn't it?
Oh, I think most people, or most AFL supporters were just eyes on the television and eyes on the live ladder. You just could not get apart. And I was in the car and I was updating that live ladder every couple of seconds. It was just amazing how it unfolded. So, well, we've got the top 8 now, and we can look forward to next Thursday night when it kicks off Brisbane and the mighty Tigers. And I tell you what, I'm going to. I've already got my ticket. You've got me on the train. You've got me on the train.
Come on, mate. Hey,
come on, we're from Tiger.
Just on the Brisbane Lions, they were really disappointing, mate, against Melbourne last week. And it worries me a little bit being a Tiger supporter, because they were so disappointing. You just think and you feel they're going to really come out with some vigor and a bit of fight, aren't they, in this first final, mate? It's going to be huge. Can you see them bouncing back, Spide, or what do you reckon?
Well, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because they haven't in the past. They've never really come out and put stamp their foot down and showed their authority, have they really? They haven't been that kind of a team. So, to be honest, I reckon their mental demons are the ones that I'd be playing on, absolutely, if I was the Tigers. And they've been there, done that. They know the ground. The Gabba's not a scary place for Tigers. So, look, I think it's going to be another cracking setup, and I'm sure we'll go through all that next weekend, because there's so much to unfold even before next Thursday night.
Unbelievable. And then obviously, the appointment of Alistair Clarkson last week, the schmozzle at the Essendon Football Club, and then, the resignation of all the board members in the last couple of days as well, Spine. It's fair to say Eddie Maguire used to use this a fair bit, but, geez, it's been a big week in football.
Absolutely, it's been a big weekend. Look, I was really stoked for North Melbourne to get there, man, to get Clarko. I know it's a fairy tale story, and look, they haven't got the members, like the other clubs, or the sponsorship or the backing, but it'd be really, we love when North Melbourne are doing well. We saw when they had the profile of Duck, and they were playing in grand finals and winning premierships. It was just fantastic. Unfortunately, that didn't end the way everybody wanted, but you could see that Alistair Clarkson's just going to bring that life back into that football club. And if it's players going there, if it's players staying, the members, some faith, that's what I love about it. And, if it's not Essendon, if it's not Collingwood, it's Carlton. We love our big clubs being in turmoil. It just puts people involved in football on the front pages of the paper. And, it's Essendon at this time. They're under the pump, but you know what? We love it. That's what we love about footy. We love our big clubs. We love them in the finals, and we love them when they're under the pump.
We need to put a bit of acid on the boys at Palmerbet too, mate. We need to get a market by our show next week, our finals preview for who's going to coach the Bombers, mate. So the boys at Palmerbet can work on that, I reckon, for a spot.
Yeah,
Who do you think, mate?
Well, for me, if I was them, I'd be going for Ken Hinkley.
Yeah.
Out of Port Adelaide.
I reckon it's a win-win for both clubs there, because I reckon, to be honest, Spot, I reckon they probably need a bit of a breakaway themselves, a pair, and maybe need a fresh face in there as well. So I think you're right, mate. I love Kenny. He's a Camperdown boy, of course, kind of my neck of the woods and stuff. And I reckon he's got plenty to offer.
He'll be able to build that club into something really nice. And Port Adelaide have been a little bit stiff. Don't worry about that. But I think you're right. The hardest thing, and I think most people got to look at, is that you get 4 weeks into next year and Port Adelaide's not going any good. Ken Hinkley's going to be on the chopping block. So he's only guaranteed probably realistically 8 weeks of football.
Yeah,
compared to Essendon, where you're guaranteed 5 years. So outside of that, you'd probably go for, they've gone for the young. They've tried the mature. There's still a few Ross Lyons. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Johnny Worsfold's been there, but, I was very surprised Johnny Worsfold didn't pop up in GWS. They got Kingsley, which was a bit of a surprise. So, look, for me, the Bombers are mad if they don't go for Ken Hinkley, but probably don't do it the way they tried to get Clarko.
Yeah, Kingsley spoke really well too. I saw some of that doing the rounds on social media. His first kind of chat to the Giants, and I know at Richmond, Spy, they got big opinions of him. So good on him for getting the gig. I think everyone thought Uze was the man. He was a lock there, but well done to Adam
and don't
Kingsley.
Forget, you've only got a month to start getting your side in order. You've got trades, you've got draft, and clubs are talking now. Clubs are now sitting there going, okay, let's start talking. And the Bombers, who's talking for them? Who's putting their players out there? Heppel will go if he's got no contract or no coach to stay with.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Now, listen, let's have a look back on season 2022. Obviously, no football this weekend, Spide, but who's been your most impressive team, do you think, in 2022, mate?
Look, I reckon there's two. I like 3 teams. I thought Geelong to finish on top of the ladder was great. There's a lot of question marks about their coach and about their playing list, and they're too slow. And I still remember round 1, they come out and they went bang. And we thought, but it's only 1 week. And then week 2, they went bang. And, they have been absolutely solid all year. 5 All-Australians in their team. Brilliant. You can see why. But, and what I've liked about Geelong is the fact that, people like Dangerfield, Selwood, and Tommy Hawkins have been able to rejuvenate themselves, but really kind of change their games a little bit as well. Like Tommy Hawkins looks as good as ever. Look, I've really liked Geelong. I think without a doubt, people are going to say Collingwood. They would have thought, they might just make
bottom
the 8.
4. A lot of people predicting bottom 4, weren't they?
Yeah. And even, what I like most about that is when they won on the weekend, the coach McRae just turned around and said, I couldn't even believe it. It was just the character in this team, the way they went about it. He had tears in his eyes. Belief. And it was just, the belief and faith they have. And don't worry, they had their controversials during the year. Don't forget they had the racial bout, their presidency, DeGoey. And then they had, DeGoey finding himself in a fair bit of trouble and suspensions, and same with Elliott. So don't worry, they've really handled themselves well, Collingwood, I think, this year. And the other one for me, of course, I don't think you can go past Freo. Freo, I think, have had a stellar year. They've had a couple of ups and downs. They had a few patches there where, they struggled a little bit, but you're going to do that with a young team. But for them to come out this year and show what they do, and I was there that day they beat Melbourne at the MCG, and it was just amazing. It was just so good for that football club to win on the home of footy, the MCG. So probably for me, you look at those 3 teams. If I had to pick out one out of all of them, still it'd be Collingwood or Freo. I'd probably just go Collingwood in front of Freo.
Yeah, Collingwood
as the standout for me.
Absolutely sensational. Yeah, great job. And I reckon you're right. The Purple Haze, they're starting to build something over there. If they pick up Jackson and possibly another key forward, I reckon he's probably the missing piece of the puzzle. But they've got some.
And don't forget, if you ever get a chance to go to WA, and it's like Adelaide, it's only 2 towns. I mean, two team cities. So you're one or the other. There's no in between. There's no sitting on the fence. You're either West Coast or you're Freo. You're Port Adelaide or you're Adelaide. And this is what I love about it, because don't worry, Freo supporters have been copping it for a very, very long time over the West Coast Eagles. So for them just to have a little bit of time in the sun is fantastic. And I feel for the hundreds of thousands of Freo fans over in WA, where they can just strut that little bit bigger and wear the purple haze with pride for once. Instead of getting booed as they walk down the street, people are starting to respect them.
Yeah, mate, 100%. Now, listen, Spy, we're going to flip it here. That's the most impressive teams. Who's been the most disappointing in 2022 in your eyes, big fella?
Oh, look, I think there's three. Same thing, three, and then I'll give you one. GWS. I thought GWS would have shown a little bit more throughout the year.
Yep.
They had a side. They played finals not that long ago, and they were always going to be destined to build good things. And we know it's a really hard market, Sydney, but still they've proven against that and been able to play finals. So I was a bit disappointed in their season. The Bombers, no doubt. The Bombers were there, top 8, top 4. They were destined to play finals, and it was always going to be their way. And the other one, look, you can go Port Adelaide, but I'm going St Kilda. I thought St Kilda.
Oh, gee, look out.
Well, yeah, I understand, but they're just so frustrating. They had so many games. They just, and my young fella, he loves the Saints, and he gets frustrated. And you sit there, and the thing you've got to judge it on is when you pick up the paper on a Friday and you want to put your $5 or your $10. Do you have any faith? And we still have no faith. Going, you know what? They should actually beat this team. Even when they play the lower sides, there's just no conviction of what's that word again? Conviction. Of actually getting the job done. So I reckon they'll be disappointed with the year as well, because they know they can do it. That's
a bit of acid at the start. There's going to be so much pressure, I reckon, at the start of next season for the poor old Saints. And then there's talk too, Spy. They're going to go after the Goey. Is that going to be the right decision? Things like that can backfire, of course, pretty quick, can't they? So
absolutely. Well, they got Brad Hill too, and big money. And
he looks like
Lenny Hayes in.
He looks like he's probably going to end up at the Kangaroos, mate. But if you hear the whispers, isn't he back with Clarko?
And if he go, from a Saints fan, would you rather De Goey or Bradley Hill? You'd rather De Goey. Personally, I think, that's me. But and bringing Lenny Hayes, which is fantastic, into the roster. Have they brought him into the roster to take over in case they don't go that well? Then suddenly they've got, because GWS was looking at Lenny Hayes as a full-time number 1 coach.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they've brought him in? So if Ratton does start to struggle towards the end of next year or mid next year, move him over. The Rolls Royce, the legend himself of the St Kilda Footy Club, is there. Take over the reins and start build a football club.
Gee whiz, I hope all the big players, mate, Caroline Wilson and Robbo, that aren't watching this. They'll be all over this after the day, Spy.
Don't worry about this. There's always... Well, he was living in a farm out in New South Wales, and then suddenly he's come back to a club that he loves, but he didn't want a lot to do with football, but he put his hand up for the big job. Didn't get it, but I reckon there's a kind of like, you've seen what Hawthorn did. You see what Sydney do very, very well. That the plan of attack, maybe even they might give Ratton till the end of next year or the year after. But I reckon Lenny Hayes is absolutely 100% in there for the top job over the next few years.
Cherry ripe and ready to go, mate. Hey, listen, all Australian team, always up for discussion, always plenty of discussion about it, and also plenty of talk. People have their opinions. I want to get yours. I'm going to run through the team, mate. From the back line, Tommy Stewart from the Cats, of course, first time in the team. Stephen May from Melbourne, second time at fullback. Braden Maynard from Collingwood, fourth time in the team for Maynard. That really surprised me, to be honest. Halfback Jack Sinclair from St Kilda, first time in the team. Sammy Taylor from the GWS Giants, first time. Adam Sard from Carlton, first time across halfback. In the centre line, Tuke Miller from the Gold Coast Suns. What a year he's had. Second time in. Clayton Oliver, third time in from the Demons. Callum Mills from the Sydney Swans, first time in. Half forward line, Christian Petrarca, third time from the Demons. Jeremy Cameron, sensational year as well, third time in. Shea Bolton from the Tigers.
Yeah.
First time in, only Tigers player in the side too. Full forward line, Charlie Curnow, first time, won the goal kicking. He's only, in the forward pocket. Tommy Hawkins at full forward, 5th time, and also named captain the Big Tomahawk. Tyson Stengel from the Geelong Cats, 1st time in a pocket. Max Gawn in the ruck, 6th time for Maxi in the All-Australian. Patrick Cripps, of course, ruck roving. It's his 3rd time. He's also vice-captain. Lockie Neal from the Brisbane Lions. It's his 3rd time. And on the interchange bench, we've got Isaac Heaney from the Swans, 1st time. Connor Rosie from Port Adelaide, 1st time. Andrew Brayshaw from the Fremantle Dockers, 1st time. And Mark Blitzarves from the Cats, 1st time. Spider, be honest, what's your thoughts?
Look, I thought Sard was very, very lucky. Like he's been a solid player, but it's such a hard team to pick. Yeah, definitely Shai Bolton, absolutely. Kerno, I think if you win the goal kicking, you should be full forward.
I agree. Yeah, I can't work that out. Well, what about the Tomahawk as captain, mate? Like that was a really interesting one, Spot. What's your take on that?
Oh, look, I think he's been able to change his game. I think he'll be a good leader in that way. But, when you look at that side, there's full of leaders there. So, yeah, a little bit surprising. You'd think Gawn being 6-time, All-Australian, you'd think it'd go for the player that's had the most representations or the most Australian jerseys, I would have thought. And if he gets it in
premiership
again,
captain, yep.
Absolutely. So, yeah, probably a bit of a funny pick there. But
what about Tom Lynch? What about Tom Lynch, Spot? Now, I know
there's a few that I reckon that bit stiff. Tommy Lynch, 100%. I thought he held up. And, Jack Rewald probably hasn't had the best year, but he stepped up at certain times. But, Tommy Lynch has been very, very consistent for the Tigers. There's no doubt, I reckon that. But how many forwards can you fit in as well?
Yeah, fair call.
Would you take, going into a game this weekend, would you take, if you had to choice at a draft, would you take Tommy Lynch or would you take Tommy Hawkins?
Lynch.
Yeah, I probably would too. Yeah, I would.
At this stage of their careers, I reckon.
Yeah, and the year that they've had, I'd probably take Lynch. So, Tommy a little bit lucky. I even think, when you look at Sard, you think Sard versus Hugh McCluggage.
Yeah.
I reckon he's had a cracking year. You're halfway through the year. He was one of the Brownlow favourites. He was in the top 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I think he averages 26, 27 touches a week, unless I put money on him to get over 20 touches and he'll get 19. But let's not get caught up in all that.
Well, Sammy Walsh was another one. A little bit of conjecture there. He's had another sensational year. His numbers stack up too, don't they?
And I think, absolutely. And the other one, Sam Doherty.
Yeah.
Come back. He averaged 27, 28 touches a week.
He might have been that halfback flank with Sard, really, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think he was very, very stiff. And I know Gawn, I don't think Gawn's had a year like he's had previously.
Yeah.
I think he's been good.
He's been solid. I agree with that. Yeah.
Probably hasn't had the year that, he's been used to or he's had over years and years before. And Jared Witt, I think, has had a standout year. For somebody who's a big unit to get his hand on the ball, Gawn probably gets forward a little bit more and kicks a couple more goals. But Jared Witt has given the Gold Coast Suns first use of the ball each and every week. And that's why they've been, the top teams in clearances and all that. So, look, I think Jared Witt was a little bit stiff. And to be honest, the other one that gets me is if you've got Josh Dacos, a rising star by the length of the Flemington Straight, absolutely he should have been thrown into. He should have been. He's had a stellar year. And I know you're putting him up against, your Petrarcas, your Olivers, your Took Millers, but still, you look at the bench there and you think, he still deserves an absolute look. He didn't even make the 44.
Yeah, that surprised me, to be honest. Should have been in that, definitely, mate. I agree. I just, it's a hard one. Where there's so many players and there's so many teams in the competition, you could seriously pick 5 of these teams, Spider, and if they were to play each other, they would be competitive, wouldn't they?
And that's what I like. And I like that they're actually picking an All-Australian team because don't forget, a few, probably 15 years ago, they went away from that and they actually picked the All-Australian team to suit the Gaelic football. And it wasn't really an All-Australian team. So this is an All-Australian team. And as you say, you go through every part of that and they're absolute superstars. So, and it's great to see there's a few new faces in there. A lot from the same clubs, but you know what? They're the ones going to be noticed. They're the ones getting the job done.
Yeah, Sammy Taylor from the Giants, he's had a magnificent year at centre-half back. So, hey, listen, let's have a look at some markets. All thanks to Palmerbet, mate, for the remaining 3 or 4 weeks of our final series. It's going to be sensational. Premiership odds, mate. Okay, so the Cats are at $3. Started the season at $11, Spider.
See?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. When you really break it down, it's amazing, isn't it? Melbourne, 3.25 currently. They started the season at $4.60. Sydney at $6. They started the season at $13. Richmond now at $10. They started at $11. Collingwood at $10 now. Started the season at $51. The Pies. Wouldn't you love having a piece of that? Freo currently at $18. They started the season at $26. Brisbane at $26 at the moment. They started at $7, and the Bulldogs are at $31. They started at $6.50. That is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I really like. Look, for $26, you'd have a look at Brisbane for sure. I know they got Tigers first up, but if they get over them, suddenly that
things
that
open
26.
Up a bit.
Oh, absolutely, it will be down into single figures. The other one for me is Collingwood. Collingwood is still over. So you've got to think they've beaten every team.
Yeah.
They've beaten most teams.
Yeah.
And they just find a way. So, Geelong definitely deserve to be favourite, but I don't think, Melbourne and Geelong game would be an absolute cracker. But you look at any of those games, I'd be looking at some of those bigger odds right now because, after the first week of the finals, it will tighten right up. So, absolutely. For me,
spread it around a bit. Hedge your bets a bit. Yeah.
Oh, you have to. You have to. And that's the fun of it. But what about those? 51 at the start of the season, the Pies, and now into 10s.
To be honest, though, I can't believe that Freo were half the price at the start of the season than Collingwood. That doesn't really make sense either, Spide, when you go back and you actually have a look at it. So, interesting. What about to make the grand final? All thanks to Palmerbet. Cats are at $1.50. Demons $1.62, Sydney $2.50, Collingwood $4.50, Tigers at $8, Freo $9, Brisbane $13, Bulldogs $13. What do you reckon there, Spide?
Oh, I'd be taking the Pies at $4 there.
$4.50. Yeah,
at $4.50. Putting
a
little bit on
the Cats. If they get over the Cats in the first week, so next week, they go straight to a prelim. They're going to play a prelim final probably on a Friday night at the MCG or a Saturday Arvo in front of 100,000 people.
And don't worry, the best you're going to get is under $3 then.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
so,
good call.
Yeah, that's me. I reckon the Cats are good, but they've played I think they've played every home and away game except for one at Geelong. So they've played 22 out of the 23 games pretty much at home. They've had a good run, the Geelong,
and at home this year. That little injury cloud, I reckon, around Jeremy Cameron is just a little concern for mine because he's their X factor. He can bob up and kick you 4 or 5 and win you a final off his own boot. So that's the little thing. And
don't forget too, the Cats. You need Danger to step up into a big game. You need Gary Rowan to step up. A couple of players that, just on the big stage at certain times of just being caught. Collingwood, plus having young, you can see Collingwood at the moment. You can't take anything away. They've played in front of 90,000 people several times this year and delivered on close games.
Yeah,
when it comes to the crunch, for Jamie Elliott to kick those couple of goals over the last few weeks, and if you go back, and my young fella showed me the vision the other day, that is it Ginnivan?
Jackie Ginnivan. Yep.
Yeah, when he put for Elliott to kick that goal, that Shepherd he put on, that 1%er.
Yeah.
That no one saw because they only saw Jamie Elliott's goal.
Yeah.
Brilliant
block, mate. Yeah.
Absolutely. Was probably the best part of that game. You looked at that and said, you know what? That sums up the Collingwood Football Club right now.
Yeah. No, 100%, mate. Hey, what about to kick the most goals in the final series, Jeremy Cameron? This is all thanks to Palmerbet. $4.75. The Tomahawk at $7. Bailey Fritsch at $7.50. Tommy Lynch at $8. Buddy Franklin $11. Isaac Heaney $15. Benny Brown $18. Keziah Pickett at $18 as well. I'm just getting this out there early, Spot. I don't know where you're going here, but I reckon Fritsch, mate. He's the man. He just kicks goals each week, doesn't he?
Well, you stole it out of my mouth. I actually thought exactly the same. Yeah, I thought, he can kick multiple. But the other one at the moment who's up and running is Cozzy Pickett.
Yeah, he is.
First goal.
$18.
Yeah, kick the first goal. He's always lively. He's always around there. And as soon as you start getting your hand in, you got that self-belief, and you know that they're going to kick it in long towards their tall timber. And as soon as it hits the ground, if he can get to it, you know what's going to happen. He's going to put a shot on goal. No different to, Charlie Cameron from up in Brisbane. All those small forwards, absolutely. So for me, I know they normally go to the big guns, but come finals time, it's scrappy, it's tough, it's hard. You've just got to be lightning quick and where the ball lands. So for me, French and Cozzy Pickett would be two good bets.
Oh, I love it, mate. Hey, listen, big fella, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Here are the odds for the first week of the final, Spide.
Well, here we go. Come on.
All together, big fella. So game one, Brisbane, Richmond, Thursday night, of course, at the Gabba, 7:20. It's going to be a ripping game of football. The Lions are at $2. Tigers $1.80. The line, the Brisbane Lions plus 2.5 at $1.90. Richmond minus 2.5 at $1.90. So it's a toss of the coin game there, Spide.
Yeah. Right now, and I know we'll dive deeper into it with our multi and who's going to kick the first goal and how many goals they're going to kick next week. But just off the top of my head right now, I'm saying Richmond. Now this could change in a week, but right now I'm saying the Tigers.
I'm nervous, mate. I must admit I'm very nervous because I'm just wary that, they've been copping so much in the media. They're just going to come out pretty vicious and pretty ferocious.
Yeah, but they've got no one who's got that form of arrogance outside Zorko, but he tries too hard.
Yeah.
To push it.
I hope you're right, mate. Hey, game two, Melbourne v Sydney, Friday night at the MCG, 7:50. Going to be a ripper as well for mine. Demons $1.45, Sydney $2.78. That's, I don't know. I know the Demons were awesome against Brisbane, but I reckon Sydney are just a good team too. Melbourne at the line minus $13.5, $1.90. Sydney plus $13.5, $1.90. Early thoughts, Spide?
Yeah, look, I was surprised with those odds. I thought Sydney would have been a lot closer. I think Melbourne's a little bit short, but I will be taking Melbourne. Absolutely. I think much as we love the Swans, with Buddy, I just look, Melbourne on paper, you look at them and gee, they got a good team.
Yeah,
they absolutely got a good team. And the way they destroyed, absolutely pulled the pants down of the Lions. I just think at the moment, I'd stick with the D. Some fraction short, but you know what? We'll take it.
Absolutely, Spide. Hey, listen, game number 3, Geelong v Collingwood, Saturday afternoon, 4:35 at the MCG. To be honest, mate, I cannot believe they've scheduled this game for 4:35. Head-to-head, Cats $1.43, Pies $2.85. At the line, Geelong minus 16.5 $1.90. Collingwood plus 16.5 $1.90, mate. This is going to be a beauty. Blockbuster. Early thoughts, Spide?
Well, my early thoughts is I'm going the other way. I reckon Collingwood are overs here. And we said this last week too.
I'm with you, mate. I'm with you.
When they went up against Carlton, we were like, you know what? Why is Collingwood the underdog, even though they only just got over the line? But don't forget, in the first quarter, they were 4 goals up. So for me, I'd been very nervous. I was the Cats. I reckon Collingwood have got a great game plan. They run hard. They continue to run for 4 quarters. So for me, I'll be taking that. What is it? $2.45, did you say?
$2.45, mate.
Yeah, I'll be taking that every day of the week. So stick with the Pies there for sure.
Yeah, game 4, mate. Freo v the Western Bulldogs, Saturday, 8:10 at Optus Stadium. Great to see the Purple Haze back in the final series head-to-head. Dockers $1.47, Bulldogs $2.70. At the line, Fremantle minus 14.5 $1.90, Western Bulldogs plus 14.5 $1.90. Bulldogs will be going over there thinking they're a massive chance.
$1.90, I would have been putting these both on. Absolutely, the Bulldogs are a chance. I just don't know. Look, I wouldn't be backing Freo with any confidence. They've been an awesome team all year, but when you come to September, it's a whole different brand of football, and the Bulldogs are absolutely cherry ripe for this. We know that. We know what they've been able to do in a final series. They've been able to come from 7th and 8th and win a flag. So though they will bite and scratch and punch and do whatever they can to win. So you know what? For me, I'm actually going to go the Bulldogs.
Yeah, right.
I reckon the Bulldogs will win this.
Yeah, love it, mate.
Yep.
Oh, do you know what? Actually, I'm probably with you, to be honest, Spide. I agree. I reckon those odds are way skew if, to be honest. I reckon they're just going with the.
So if I was any punters out there, I'd get on there a little bit early because that's a nice little odd. That I reckon there'd be a lot of punters out there going, you know what? That's too nice for. It's too nice for Freo. Let's jump on the Bulldogs.
Well, I think we said Collingwood 240. It's 285 for the Pies. There's a bit of value around, mate. So I love it. $2.85. Bulldogs, $2.70.
Even if you take them at the line, if you got Collingwood at the minus at the line and the Bulldogs, still it's $4. How good's that?
That's exactly right. Hey, listen, mate, it is going to be a sensational final series, of course. No footy this weekend, but next Thursday it is going to kick off.
There's a little bit.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Mate, I just want to give a big shout out to the AFLW. Yeah, kicking off this weekend. I've really loved to see it slowly build. The AFL's done a magnificent job in just, allowing so many teams in and, just implementing a few more each year. 18 teams going to take to the park this year, and it's just awesome. The brand of footy's got so much better. Who to bet on and how can you find a winner? Watch this weekend, and then you can start determining a better guide. But, it's just the quality of football is getting so good for the females, and so many juniors playing it as well. So well done to the AFL, and good luck to all the AFLW teams kicking it off this weekend, their 2022-2023 campaign.
Yeah, it's great to see too. They've changed obviously the season timing and all that kind of stuff, I think, which is a real positive. And it's hard, it's tricky because they've probably been lost a little bit over the last couple of weeks because there's been so many big stories getting around. But it's great to see their season, a couple of new teams in the competition as well, which is just fantastic. Spider, no footy this weekend, mate. Next weekend, she is going to be on. PalmerBet is your number one spot to get involved with. Download the app. Gamble responsibly. That is the key message, as always, big fella. But I look forward to catching up with you, mate. You kick your heels back this weekend. Have a rest, have a relax. And then next week, mate, she is going to be on.
Absolutely. So all thanks to, as you say, all thanks to PalmerBet. But just make sure, just have a look at Gold Coast Race 9, number 13 tomorrow on Friday. Race 9, number 13, applications. I might have just a little bit in that horse. And then backing up on Saturday at Eagle Farm, race 3, Ven Did It. So 2 of my horses running this weekend.
Yeah,
could not ask for a better weekend.
I love it, mate. Well, I've got a little share in a horse called In the Boat, which will resume at Caulfield on Saturday as well.
Well, there we go. Take the multi, the 3 of them, all for a place.
Good on you, big fella. Great to talk to you as always, mate. And we'll talk next week.
Absolutely. Cheers.